I was recently on an overnight group ride in the Victorian high country, and I realised I'm the youngest rider here. And then I thought about all of the other group rides that I was on, and in those cases, I was always the youngest. I've also noticed that whenever I'm out for a day ride, that if I pull up to a group of adventure riders, it's usually a group of old blokes on BMW GS's wearing all of the BMW branded adventure gear. I then thought about the YouTubers in this category, and even they tend to either be middle-aged or well into retirement. You'll come across the infrequent younger YouTuber that's going on adventure rides like myself. However, the market seems to be dominated by the older generation. Now, why is that? I'm going to go over the 3 reasons I think adventure bike riders are so old. And this isn't an exhaustive list, this is just what I've noticed. Firstly, motorcycles in general are geared towards people with a higher appetite for risk. And riders are usually craving thrills and ways to dump their adrenaline. Those impulses are even greater in the younger crowd. So I believe you'll find the majority of them out there riding super sports if they're strictly road focused, or motocross enduro bikes if they also enjoy off-roading. This is not to say that you can't experience these thrills on an adventure bike. Look at the KTM 1290 Super Adventure R. That thing is a beast. 160 horsepower and 0 to 100 in 3 seconds. You can also take your adventure bike through some of the most challenging terrain in the world. It's just that I think when young people look at them, they just see dad bikes. I too thought this. When I first got my license, I purchased a Ninja 250R because it looked like a sports bike. And then after coming off of my restrictions, it was straight to a full powered Honda Hornet CB919. And little did I know how much fun adventure bike riding could be. Any hobby that's automotive related tends to cost quite a lot. And for adventure bike riding, this is truly a big reason it's more difficult to get into as a younger rider. First off, it's the cost of the motorcycle. Of course you can buy a used one, and there are some great examples. But let's say someone wanted to buy a new flagship adventure bike like an Africa Twin. That's $25,000 right off the bat. And not many young people have that amount of cash to drop on a hobby. Then you got to buy all the modifications to make it suit you. Start adding luggage and accessories, that's another couple of thousand. Then it's the gear, drop a couple more thousand. But wait, if you really want to be comfortable, you'll need different sets of gear for different weather. Now you finally got all the gear, you've got the bike, then you start riding the bike. You drop it. You've smashed a mirror. More money towards this hobby. So I think the costs of adventure riding are a deterrent to the younger crowd, but for any young folk watching this and want to get into adventure riding on a budget, get out there, pick up a used KLR 650 and some cheap, versatile, all seasons gear, and you'll be off on an epic adventure in no time. Lastly, I'd say that having the time to actually ride is a big factor. And I'm not saying that older people always have more time to ride, but you know, in your 20s and 30s, you're focusing on your career, growing your family, so you might not get that many weekends in a year to ride. And what do adventure bikes lend themselves well to? Going on an adventure. This usually involves weekends away, multi-day trips, or even week-long trips. And if you're ultra hardcore, you can go longer. But adventures consume time, and generally you'll need to cover lots of distance on the tarmac just to get to the locations that you want to ride. This is the perfect use case for adventure bikes, but when you're strapped for time on the weekends, you might just want to go for a quick spin on your road bike or a day ride in the trails on your enduro, and that's fine. Obviously these aren't all the reasons why adventure bike riders are so old. These are just the ones that I've noticed from my perspective. If you're an older rider, please share your experiences as to why you ride adventure bikes. I'd love to hear it in the comments. For a young person like myself, I'd love to be riding, well into my 50s, 60s, and even 70s. So you guys actually motivate me to continue to ride, and I look forward to being able to adventure for a long time going forward. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.